What's going on, people? It's Gray Rizzy riding out with you on a Shade 45 Snapshot special. And let me just get this right, because I did go ahead and take some of these words from somebody on his side, but I want to make sure that I welcome him correctly. He's an MC, artist, activist, actor, two-time New York Times bestselling author, representative of hip-hop and Chicago South Side. My brother's in the building. Common, what's going on, man?
Busy, yo, great, man. That's a perfect intro. Thank you, brother. I'm feeling good. How are you, man?
I'm good. You know, all things considered, it's a weird time in the world, but, you know, I think if anything, we've been built for this and we have been ready for this. So this is what we've grown up. Not so much this. We haven't grown up in this, but adversity. We've learned how to go ahead and adapt and continue to, you know, just propel ourselves. And I know that's something that you're talking about in this new project. And I just sat down with you not too long ago for Let Love, but we have the new project, A Beautiful Revolution, Part 1.
Yeah, so hip hop has been that expression of what you just described. Being able to be in a difficult situation, whether it be the hood, it's beauties in the hood, it's beauties, and it's also struggle in the hood. We know that. Being Black in America and Latino in America is challenges that the system puts on you. But somehow through our spirits, our heart, our strength, we've been able to find the golden things, the beautiful things about it, the power in it. And you know, hip hop is an example of that. So for me, like when I created A Beautiful Revolution, I saw all the injustices going on. I was feeling those things. And I honestly didn't think I was even gonna make music during this time. I just was like absorbing and figuring out where I could fit in, what can I do? And along with any activism work that I was able to be a part of and support. And I think, you know, music has been one of the most powerful mechanisms when it comes to revolution or change or, you know, political movements. The music always has something to do with it, whether it's the songs that people sang in the civil rights movement, or whether it was Aretha Franklin and Harry Belafonte and Nina Simone and Bob Marley and Public Enemy making music that gave us, Kendrick Lamar gave us to move forward and to give us that spirit. So Beautiful Revolution is in alignment with that. It's the spirit of uplifting during times where we may feel struggle, anger. Like you said, I asked you how you doing. You said, man, it's in the midst of it all, you know, it's uncertainty. Well, I feel like, man, that this album and this music and you know, our self-work will get us to places where we can feel positive and create new thoughts and create change that we've been always talking about. We hear that word a lot, but actually be in creation of it. And the music, you know, is that inspiration for it.
Well, one of the things I want to do, and I think if anything, I'm really big on being glass half full. Maybe when I was a little younger, it might have been the opposite. It might have been fuck everything, fuck the establishment or whatever. But now that I'm a little older, family man, got kids and stuff, it's definitely glass half full, because you want to make sure that there's something for the ones that you're leaving behind eventually when that day comes. But something that I took out of this is that, you know, in sitting down, or at least being able to sit down a little bit and kind of surveying the landscape, so to speak, it allowed for a lot of people to become more creative, or at least have that time to become more creative. And like you said, you didn't expect to do any music, but here we are talking about a new project, A Beautiful Revolution, Part 1. In that, you had a chance to sit down with a longtime collaborator, connect with him, Black Thought of the Roots, man. And we got this song right here. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play the song. We're gonna come back and then talk about how this all came together. Can we do that?
Yes, sir, for sure.
Look, you hear him. It's Common. It's Gray Rizzy. This is a Shade 45 snapshot special for a beautiful, Revolution, Part 1. Let's get to this song right here. Say Peace, featuring Black Thought. Yes, sir. It's Gray Rizzy. We out here right now. It's a snapshot special right here on Shade 45. I got my brother Common in the building. He has the beard. I don't. I messed up, people. I fucked up. I know. But look, the more important part is that we have a beautiful Revolution Part 1 that's out right now. You just had a chance to hear the new song Say Peace with Black Thought. I love to play on words because it's say peace in the sense of peace, harmony. It could be saying your piece. It could be interpreted all kinds of different ways. But let's start with this. How did you connect? Not that it's a hard way for you to connect with Black Thought. You guys have been connecting over the years, but how did you two come together for this project?
Well, as you said, that's my brother, man. Like me and Thought since 96, 95 when I met him, he always been like an inspiration for me. Black Thought introduced me to Fela Kuti, you know, which is some of the original Afrobeat music. This brother is an incredible chef himself. I basically stayed at his crib when I went and worked with the Roots in Philly a lot. So throughout the years, we just always been like in sharing information, good times, performances, and just hip hop. When I was making this album, I was hearing Black Thought verses that was inspiring. I was listening to Rakim. I was listening to KRS-One. I was listening to Black Moon and Gangstar and Pete Rock and CL Tribe. And I was just like, man, my spirit of like wanting to create hip hop that just has that energy of like, where it's just, you're doing it for the love and it feels good and it's something like that feels like it can move the people. So this song, Say Peace, came about. We were in the studio. The producer of this album is Kareem Riggins and co-produced by Isaiah Sharkey and Boom Bishop. So we were working on this music and the sister PJ was singing, Say Peace. We don't really want no. She just started singing that to the beat because that's how we create. We just like, it's like an improvisation, you know, and we find what we like. And we came across that hook and I was like, she was singing that hook and I was like, oh man, that's it. Cause I told her the theme of this project is a beautiful revolution. So she was staying in that area with a lot of the stuff. And peace is something I always say. So I just was like, oh, this is the hook we need. And it didn't sound like a hook that was, it felt reggae-ish. It felt like the music felt like Afrobeat, but kind of like reggae, rugged hip hop. So I was like, man, I started writing my verse and I told Kareem, I said, yo, Kareem, I'm about to call Tariq. I'm about to call Black Thought and see if he rock on this one. Cause I just, man, I love the energy of it. Made me feel like he would light it up. I sent it to him. This dude was like, oh man, this light work. He was like, I got this. Yo, for real, hey, great. He hit me, honestly, he hit me with 3 verses. He gave me 3 verses. Like, and I was like, yo, this second one is the one I really love.
That you could just choose from. Go ahead and do you. Which one you want?
That's how prolific that dude is. 3 verses. And man, once he did that, I had DJ Dummy. I was like, Dummy, man, put some scratches. Give me that reggae feel on this joint. And man, we got this brother named Ali who's Jamaican to do some chanting on it. Because like I said, the music gave me Afrobeat, Jamaican, reggae type of feel, but hip hop. It reminded me of stuff KRS would do. Like, you know, KRS was always rocking that
right.
reggae type of style. So anyway, man, that's how the song came about. And I want to shout out PJ because she is a vocalist, singer, artist who's on the whole album, and she took it with different styles and did dope things with it. So Say Peace, we've been rocking that joint, man. We actually rocking it on Jimmy Fallon on Wednesday.
Nice.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, and this was my mistake because as I'm looking through the credits, you know, I'm one of those guys that I wish I could still open up something to read the credits and open up the booklet. We don't do that anymore. But I see PJ throughout it, and I was like, oh, is this PJ Morton? And I'm listening, I'm like, this is a beautiful lady right here. I don't know why he didn't give her any credit. You know, but I'm thinking PJ Morton, but it was actually PJ, and she is dope throughout the whole project.
Yeah. She's a sister from North Carolina, also Atlanta by way of Atlanta. But I worked with her on Black America again on this song called Unfamiliar, but we reconnected on this one, and it was like, man, it's like being with an MC, like a dope MC, because as soon as some music come on, she just like singing, coming up with melodies, coming up with words. And man, I just love being around talented and prolific and people that share the vision too. She can go anywhere we want, but if I'm like, I want to go on this, it's a beautiful revolution. Let's stay in the pocket of what those thoughts and songs might be. It's like she's able to elevate it and then sometimes bring her own thing, which takes me there, so it's a great combination. I'm grateful. Yeah, some different people ask me, "What is that PJ Moore?" And I'm like, no, this is a woman named PJ, Paris Jones.
Let's be clear about that. Paris Jones, exactly, man. Beautiful woman. That's a beautiful voice on the project. Get familiar with her because I'm very sure we're going to be hearing more from her. What I want to hear from you right now, though, is I want to throw it back just a little bit. Somebody, because right now you're inspiring people with this music. In fact, I read somewhere it said, this is more moving than militant when it comes to this particular project. So when it comes to moving people and inspiring and stuff, you're doing that right now. Who's somebody who did that for you as you were growing up?
Man, for sure, KRS-One was someone who did it, and Stevie Wonder. Them probably two of the biggest because KRS was like teaching me through the music. Like I would learn about books in the Bible through it. I would learn about why eating beef wasn't good for you. I would learn about, Madam C.J. Walker, who I had read about in grammar school, but then KRS reminded me of what she did. And so he was somebody who gave me that motivation. And the thing about it, me and you talked about this before, we said, like, when you make music that has like consciousness to it and it has that energy, it's still gotta be dope. Like, it's gotta be dope music for people to rock it. So, because, it's still music. We listening to it for pleasure too, and for motivation. So KRS did that. Stevie Wonder, obviously one of the greatest musicians, if not the greatest voice in ever since I've been living. So in his music, like he wrote songs like Black Man. He wrote songs like Love's in Need of Love Today. Even Happy Birthday, as much as we sing it and joke, that song, not joke, but sing it as part of us celebrating each other. Happy birthday. But that song helped get Dr. King's birthday to be a national holiday. He toured with that and made that happen. Like it was political to it. So them were some people who made movement music that always moved me.
Well, let me say something I bow down to the great Stevie Wonder. I also want to say I grew up in the South Bronx, so I'm definitely with you on KRS-One. And what you're talking about is edutainment, as KRS-One would say.
Edutainment.
So, go ahead.
I was about to say, it's so great that you brought that up because I was listening to that album too. That and Return of the Boom Bap was two albums that I was like, as I was creating, I was like, man, this is incredible. This dude is breaking down beef, breaking down what breath control is, talking about political things. He had Stokely Carmichael, also known as Kwame Ture, on the album. Yeah, man. So yes, shout out to the BX. Shout out to Showbiz and AG too. I was listening to them and Lord Finesse too, but KRS was really, I got to give it up. That was like that was a motivation for me.
You know what? I'm going to give y'all a fun fact when we come back from this right now. In fact, I'm going to play some Stevie Wonder and I'm going to play some KRS-One because Common says so. It's a snapshot special right here on Shade 45. Gray Rizzy, we out here. Whoa. Gray Rizzy, we out here on Shade 45. It's a snapshot special. We got a beautiful revolution. Part 1 out. Common is here with me right now. A little fun fact for you, Common. Like I grew up a block away from where KRS-One was at in the Bronx. I grew up maybe 2 blocks away from Rob, Lord Finesse, of course, DITC, and maybe half a mile away from Showbiz AG down there in Patterson Project. So shout out to the Bronx, the BX, what's going on? So look, let's I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, man. These delays, I'm so used to being in studio with you, man. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
I know. No, I'm just gonna say, the BX, I mean, obviously the home of hip hop, the seed of it, it's like, it's something for me to go full circle. I'm a Chicagoan, but hip hop is what I breathe. It's what I dream of. It's like who I am. And for me, it's full circle to be able to say that like KRS and Lord Finesse and Showbiz and AG really helped influence what I'm doing now. So yeah, I just want to shout the BX again. That's all.
Full circle, like you said, me being a product of it, to be talking with you all the way from, South Side Chicago, that just goes to show you how big this thing is. Don't let anybody belittle hip hop. It's a major force in the community, in the culture. What's really good right now, and I want to transition a little bit to this song, Fallen, on A Beautiful Revolution Part 1, man. You address a lot of beliefs and concerns within the Black and brown community in this song when it comes to religion, wisdom, racism, incarceration, sexism, vaccines, and all of them play a part in this song. What's your view right now? Because something that's right in front of us, we keep on talking about vaccines and the possibility with COVID-19, seeing something that's able to slow it down, hopefully eradicate it. What's your point of view when it comes, or your position when it comes to vaccines? Because within the Black and brown community, we are very skeptical. You speak on it in the song, and for good reason. What's your view?
I'm skeptical. I'm not into taking vaccines, to be honest. I'm a believer in like doing our best to take care of ourselves in preventative ways by being as well as we possible, by eating, healthier diets, continuing to work out, keeping mental health. Your mental health affects your body too, like keeping our minds and our hearts in better places and having methods and resources to make sure, when I say resources, I'm just talking about like information on how to keep our minds in a good space. And I'm an advocate for that first. Mm-hmm. And then, I also do believe that Western medicine has its place in society, but I know a lot of doctors get into like, as soon as you say you got an issue, they giving you steroids, they giving you this. And I've witnessed people who've taken certain things and it went in the wrong direction. In fact, it caused more things to happen, lupus and other things. And I really believe in the healing mechanisms of foods that we eat. And like I said, just wellness, taking care of self. So my thing with vaccines is that's not something that I am into. I personally won't do it. And, I know we as a people should at least be aware of what it is, like make sure that the research is done and we can go to reliable sources if you are going to go get it. People that care about you and are not just willing to push, drugs on you or, because they're quick to push, prescription drugs and different vaccines on us. So, I understand I'm not a doctor, so I can't say what can be done to stop the spread of COVID and those things. But as far as vaccines in general go, that's not anything that I subscribe to.
Right. I think what's really big, and it's pretty much a similar view in our household. And again, for everybody, you do what you think is best for you and your family. Just right. Please do the due diligence. But I think we need to be more precautionary than reactionary. Like there's no secret blue or red pill that should be, fixing years of whatever was going on. Yes. If you wasn't paying attention to it in the first place.
True indeed. And I think, like during this pandemic, one of the things I was encouraging us to do is, man, like let's straighten out our diets. This is an awakening call for health in general. Like let's straighten out like some of the things that, and don't get me wrong, I know in our neighborhoods we mostly only have access to foods that are damaging to us, to be honest, like whether it's the fast foods and some of this the candies and chips we get. But even just adding like water to things or some vegetables in your diet is a step, and it gets you in a better direction. I've talked to somebody in Chicago, a friend of mine, who was close to death when it came to lupus. And her doctor said, I need you to go on a raw diet. And within a month, she is good. They ain't even detecting the lupus. So a raw diet means no cooked foods, no meat, and any of that. Her doctor, who's practicing Western medicine, told her to do that, and they could barely detect the lupus that she has. So, I was one of them dudes I was reading Dr. Sebi. I went down to Honduras and like learned from Sebi. So, I give thanks for the people that I met. Actually in New York, like the Erykah Badu's and the Shaka Givens and people like Lorraine, who these are people who would educate me on how powerful eating healthier foods could be. So yeah, man, I'm a believer in that. I'm gonna be an advocate for that for our communities because it's necessary.
And not only, your literal foods, just food for thought, man. And I'm glad that you guys are listening right now on Shade 45. It's a snapshot special. Common is up here. Of course, you know that voice. You know mine as well. Gray Rizzy hanging out with him. We got the new project, A Beautiful Revolution, Part 1. And I want to get into the song because this is pretty much why we even started talking about the topic. It's Falling right here on Shade 45. Yes, sir. It's Gray Rizzy. We out here on Shade 45, and it's a special snapshot special to be exact. I got Common in the building for A Beautiful Revolution. Part 1 is out there right now. It's a weird time that we are doing this special right now because at the time we have a current president. By the time this airs, we possibly could have a new president. Something that we have spoken about in the past, obviously, is just making sure people are getting out the vote. People are doing what they need to do. By the time this airs, we'll know whatever happens. But what's been your response to seeing so many people come out and vote early? Like, I feel like just the amount of people who have come out has been crazy. I can't remember seeing something like this, but I know we've all in so many ways have been a proponent of it. So in your view, what do you think about seeing so many people come out?
Man, I've been inspired. I've been motivated. I've been charged by seeing the engagement of people and our people too, like specifically like Black and brown communities coming out, but just people really showing up and being educated on what they want and saying what they want. I've within the past 2 weeks been to Houston, Texas, been to Jacksonville, Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, all like to do political work and like greet the people on the ground and was encouraging people to vote, and was also just supporting people who didn't vote, knocking on doors, really just wanting to tell our people that this means something. We have the power to actually change the situations. And I would really try to correlate how the injustice we've seen happen with Breonna Taylor and the injustice we've seen happen even with George Floyd, the difference in those two states and the elected officials. Like in Kentucky, when Breonna Taylor was shot and killed in her sleep, her murderer didn't have the opportunity. I mean, her murderer didn't go on trial, like because that attorney general and that person was elected by the people. And if you don't go out and vote, then that you allow that person to be in office. Whereas in Minnesota, that when George Floyd was killed, that officer that killed him will be on trial. And the elected officials started making immediate changes to the police reform and start making things happen in different ways, thinking about bringing money to schools more than just supporting the police departments. That's the difference in what the vote is. And where I am now that the election is over, is like we have to hold these elected officials accountable now. Like things have to this is where the new work starts now, because we went out and voted, everybody did what they needed to do to vote. And now it's like, okay, these are the things we want to see, and we're going to be consistent with this. Like I think one of the things that I'm learning now is in between elections, we still got to be engaged. We still got to know what's going on, because it's the local and state officials that are affecting our everyday lives every day. And then it's the federal laws that take time to change and those things. So right now that we passed the election, it's like, hey, let's go hold them accountable. And I'm going to do the same. And because I was out there campaigning and speaking up for people, y'all hold me accountable. Shoot, I got to make sure that these officials are doing what they said they would do.
Right. I've been seeing you all over the place stumping. At one point, I thought you was running for office. I was like, man, he might be trying to be an alderman out in Chicago. I don't know what was going on. But one of the things that, I've been seeing out here, or at least you know, just being able to see just on social, is that there's been a lot of celebrities who have come out, and I think the message that you or somebody like a Killer Mike, or I just want to, you know, put people out there like, yo, do your due diligence for yourself, your family. Don't
Yeah.
just go out here voting because, you know, I guess you've seen this face so many times on TV. This must be the right vote. What are your thoughts when it comes to, you know, celebrities stepping up? I don't think it should be a one-time thing. I think it should be something that you're constantly, or at least you are embedded in, you have skin in the game, so to speak. Like you're holding these people accountable. We're seeing a lot of people step up, but there's like a one-off. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on those types of things?
Well, I think your heart has to be in it, and it is something that takes a full commitment. Sometimes, you know, the moment drives us to really speak up and say something, but when you really look at the scope of what the power you have by having a microphone, like the power that you and I have, Ray, and the power that the celebrity artists have, we have microphones. People are looking at things that we post or when we say something, and it's like, it's such a tremendous gift and responsibility to be able to be educated yourself so that you can give people something good to go with or information they need so that they can live better lives. To me, it's like who much is given, who much is required belief and philosophy, you know, from scriptures. It's like, man, we've been given the opportunity to fulfill some dreams, to go out there and have microphones and also have people who support us and fans who into what we say and do and create. Then man, we got to give them something that benefits them. Like, and not, it can't just be a one-sided thing. Like, we got to benefit their lives too. And not just only through the art, man. It has to also be through action and information and like, because one of the greatest things, we can name any award, you know, that I'm grateful for all those awards. But one of the greatest things I ever been a part of was getting a law change in the state of California to help juveniles not be sentenced to life without parole anymore. It was called SB 394. And we went and sat down with political officials in the Capitol, with legislators. We brought them to prisons so that they could, and we had Republicans and Democrats eventually get that bill passed. And that's something that's life-changing for a lot of people, for hundreds of thousands of people in the state of California, maybe millions, really millions when you think about it, because certain people's family members be locked up. That affects the whole family. So that being said, I think, you know, what we owe it to the people. We owe it to the communities. We owe it to the world, to be honest, to say something, to do something, and to educate ourselves and then spread the information.
Absolutely, man. What I want to do is spread a throwback, Common. I want to go ahead and go to a feature, a song that you've been featured on. And it's not yours, it's somebody else's, but you were featured on it. Pick one.
You know what song I would go to? I'm gonna go to "Get 'Em High," man. You know, with Kanye. You know, me, him, and Kweli. You know, as much as people bring up different things about Ye, I love Kanye. That's my brother. I don't agree with everything Ye says, but that's my brother, and I love him, and I'm grateful that we've been able to create together and be there for each other's brothers. Kweli is my brother. Like, I see him all the time. And man, this song, when I play it, sometimes I get reminded that I was just, you know, that was a monumental moment for me, because I was coming off of like Electric Circus and people weren't really like vibing with that album. So I always love this song, "Get 'Em High." So I love to play that.
Let's do it. It's a snapshot special right here on Shade 45. Commons in the building. It's Gray Rizzy. We out here. Whoa.
Yeah.
Gray Rizzy, we out here on Shade 45 for a snapshot special with Common. His new project, A Beautiful Revolution, is out there. Part 1, A Beautiful Revolution, Part 1 is out there right now. Make sure you go out there and support that. And everybody knows who listens to these specials that I do, I love it. If I could pick a song real quick off of your whole project, then yeah, it was probably a cool project, but I probably was like, yo, I just need to get through it. If I'm having a hard time picking a project, that means I really enjoyed it. And it happened with this project right here where I was going to pick one song, and I was going to pick another, and I kept coming back to this song. And I swear, even as great as Lenny Kravitz is, love it. It's a feature. But this song right here, A Riot in my mind, when I heard it and then I heard the GZA sample, I was like, I can't front. I gotta go to this joint, man. Liquid Swords. I gotta go to this joint right here. How did you two come together? Because I know both of your schedules are super busy, man. How does this work for the project, and how does it happen?
So man, what's crazy is I was talking with Lenny one time, and just like about a week before I had this piece of music, and we were talking about doing some music, but it was kind of that talk where you're like, yo, we got to do something one day. It didn't seem like anything that we would, was going to happen immediately. But I was in the studio, and Isaiah Sharkey, who produced on that, co-produced on it, album, was playing that guitar riff. Gung, 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 gung. And then what you said was the RZA, it was the GZA, but it's actually Isaiah playing something live, and then Kareem Riggins had the drums up. We had the drums. That's him playing the drums, but he sampled them. Anyway, I heard it gave me that GZA. It gave me something rockish. It was like some new progressive funk or something. And then I thought of this title, A Riot in my mind. So I was like, it's a riot in my mind. And then I started rhyming and styling on it. And then I said, man, this is the song. I just told Lenny, let's do something. So I sent it to Lenny. His book had just come out. Respect him, he a New York Times bestseller. Respect, his book came out. So he was busy. But when he finally got to it, he said, oh man, this is incredible. He started playing instruments on it. He put some keyboard sounds down. And we ended up using certain pieces of that. He was so enthused to do it, man. It just felt right, man. And I was just geeked, because PJ wrote that hook, to be honest. PJ wrote the hook, and then Lenny sang it. So it was real dope that he was down to do it. By the time he was working on it, he kept FaceTime me like, yo, listen to this. So I knew he was excited. Yeah, right. So we looking to shoot a video for it at some point. But I'm glad you dug that one. And thank you for saying what you said, man. That's dope. Because I love an album where my songs, where a song, I'm like, oh, I love this song, but wait, I love this song. No, so that's dope. But I love that you rock it right in my mind.
Oh, believe me, man, I fight with my program director, Ron Mills, all the time. Like, yo, you sure we can't play another one? You sure we can't sneak this one in? But, usually I'll do it a couple of days later, man. But this joint is tough, bro. I want to get to the song because I know we're running over just a little bit. Don't go anywhere, people, because I want to close this out the right way, and I definitely want to ask Common these last couple of questions, man. It's a snapshot special right here on Shade 45, A Beautiful Revolution, Part 1. It's out. It's Gray Rizzy. Keep it live. Yes, sir. It's Gray Rizzy. We out here on Shade 45 for a snapshot special. My brother Common is in the building. His new project, A Beautiful Revolution Part 1, is out there right now. Now, before we get out of here, I've been saying A Beautiful Revolution Part 1 this entire show. Does this mean we'll have a Part 2, Part 3, Part 4? Like, how far do you foresee this series going? If it will even go further than Part 1?
I definitely have want to work on a Part 2. I feel like some of the music that we were creating for Part 1 will overflow to Part 2 because I didn't want this album to be. First of all, I started on the album in mid-August, late August is when so I knew it was only going to be about a certain amount of songs because I wanted it to come out before the election, and I just was inspired, and I just said, let me get this. It's going to be a concise piece of art. And we put 9 songs, including the intro and outro. So A Beautiful Revolution Part 2 will be, and I'll be working on that very soon. So I don't know, I never thought about 3 or 4, but I was so excited about having the title of Beautiful Revolution. I was like, well, I got to do a Part 1 and Part 2. So I feel like, because this is what's going on type of music, meaning, you know, this is music that speaks to the times and can be timeless. I feel like Beautiful Revolution Part 2 will address wherever my perspective of where we are in time and what things can be offered that are greater, you know.
Dope, man. The other part that I wanted to talk about, and you kind of mentioned it just now when you said the intro and the outro to A Beautiful Revolution. I love how you closed it out, and there were so many people who defined what a beautiful revolution is to them. And to me, everybody was correct. There was no one that was wrong. But I need to know what you think a beautiful revolution is, Common.
Wow, that's a great question. For me, a beautiful revolution is where we as individuals are able to change things from within, and through that change of loving ourselves and believing in ourselves and being compassionate to ourselves and considerate, we find our truth and we're able to take that truth and spread it to loved ones that, you know, that whether it's our children / our grandmothers or cousins and friends, and then that becomes a change that happens within their communities and places they touch. And it's a place where I feel like that love and that forgiveness and that compassion becomes a way of life. It's like we are trained and living this, and not only speaking it, but living it, because it becomes us, it becomes natural to us. And you know, I feel like the God in us will be living through us in all those ways. And that's what, for me, a beautiful revolution is.
Well, you have a beautiful project on your hand, brother, and I'm sure it's going to uplift and really inspire a lot of people. But that's me repeating to you what I always say to you, bro. You are an A1 class act, and I'm just so happy to say that I know you on another level outside. It's deeper than hip hop. It's deeper than rap. But of course, that's what joins us, bro. Look, Common is here. Make sure you follow him. I think if you don't already, you probably maybe were just born, but you can follow him at Common. You can follow us at Shade45, at Gray Rizzy. If you missed any part of this interview, you can catch it on demand with the SiriusXM app on your iPhone or Android. Just search Common, Gray Rizzy, Shade45. Listen to it on your time on demand. And also remember, you could check out, you said you were going to be on Fallon soon, right?
Yeah, we'll be on Fallon on the 4th, performing Say Peace, Black Thought, and I. We're gonna light it up for the people.
Yeah, make sure you tune in for that. You know, Fallon got on demand too. You can catch that other places if you're just hearing this afterwards. So don't even worry about it, man. Yo, Common, I appreciate you, bro, for real. Thank you for everything you are and everything that you do, brother.
Man, thank you, Gray. It's great to see you and talk to you, bro. I'm glad you're doing well. Man, it's a blessing that you like the album. I appreciate you, bro. And I'll be in tune with you, all right?
Please do. Please do. Salute.
Love. Peace.